This is Kelly Hill, Executive Editor of RCR Wireless News. I'm here at Mobile World Congress 2019 in Barcelona, and I'm here talking to Adam Smith of LitePoint. How are you, Adam?
I'm doing great. How are you doing, Kelly?
Good, good. It's been a good show so far. So you guys have a lot of equipment that you brought. Tell us a little bit about some of the things that are going on, specifically in Wi-Fi. Sure.
Yeah, I mean, the theme of the show this year is absolutely 5G and how people are going to have a user experience with 5G. And actually, Wi-Fi is going to be a huge piece how we interact with it, particularly with the fixed wireless 5G networks.
Yeah.
Because effectively, 5G signals, whether it's FR1 or millimeter wave FR2, at the end of the day, fixed wireless is going to translate that into a Wi-Fi signal. And in Wi-Fi, Wi-Fi 6 is rolling out this year, kind of as we speak here. And there's some new bands that are being discussed as well. There's a lot of activity going on in Wi-Fi right now in spectrum assignment, new ways of doing modulation techniques, and all of that is coming together simultaneous with 5G.
You know, I thought one of the interesting things that you said when we were chatting earlier is that 5G is really going to open up Wi-Fi. It's going to give people a chance to see how good Wi-Fi can really be without being constrained by backhaul, basically.
Exactly. So when your wide area connection goes from this restricted little pipe to having this big fat pipe of data you can shove through there now, this really is going to open and expose how Wi-Fi performance really works at the end of the day on the end user.
So let's not forget 5G, because everybody's talking about it here at the show. Tell us what you guys have been doing in terms of test and specifically on the device side. Talk about where you guys sit in the ecosystem and sort of what you're seeing in terms of development.
Of course, yeah. So on 5G, so 5G is a big term, of course, and there's simultaneous development going on both the sub-6 gigahertz or FR1 side as well as millimeter wave on the FR2.
Yeah.
And there's certainly different test challenges as it applies to the different frequencies. But really, what our focus has been, and how do we make 5G tests simple? And so our product, our software is all geared towards getting engineers to focus on how to characterize their products, because right now we're in a heady characterization phase as we try to commercialize these devices. And so focus on product rather than focus on equipment to test the product. That's really our DNA.
And then I think another thing that I thought was interesting that you mentioned was scaling 5G. Yes. It's not just we're going to do a little field test here, we're going to put up a site here. We're going to deploy a few customer devices in a little area. One of the things I thought was interesting that Sprint has been talking about is because they're using 2.5 gigahertz for their deployment, being able to put in a very wide metropolitan footprint this year. And, so scale is something that's going to become important, I think, pretty quickly.
Absolutely. So in the frequency you just talked about there, particularly, I think what we're going to see is small cells becomes a larger piece of our lives. And then in the millimeter wave space, really this is a technology that's been more exotic. And bringing that to consumer products and making that a commercial technology is something that we're looking to achieve as well. So how do we make this simple, again, focus on your task at hand rather than focus on calibrating equipment and connecting a lot of complicated things. And these are new frequency ranges for a lot of engineers. And so treating 4G or treating 5G like it's 4G is going to be a little bit of a mistake. So we want to make sure that we take a different approach to 5G.
And how have you guys addressed some of the challenges that come along with multiple antenna arrays? That's something that beam steering and beam forming, are really sort of fundamental to the use of some of these millimeter wave frequencies, and that's really different, especially when it comes to test.
Right. So this depends on if you're looking to approach test for a wholly assembled product, or if you're testing it at the component levels or a module level. The module level is certainly something that we focus on from a performance point of view. But at the final product level, where you might have multiple of these antenna arrays in there, it's really made the test fixturing an interesting challenge. And then as we scale this technology to manufacturing, how do we do this in a footprint that makes sense for a manufacturing floor? So if you do have multiple arrays in a device, the test fixture that's around that needs to make sense for that so that it can be put into a footprint that makes sense for manufacturing.
Great. Well, Adam, thank you so much for your time. Any thoughts on what you've seen at the show that you think has been exciting?
So I think what's interesting to me as I've seen this evolve over the last several years here is the 5G is becoming more tangible. Certainly having real products that are being demonstrated in people's hands has been new this year rather than maybe just a concept behind glass. So I think 5G becoming tangible is probably the most exciting thing. interesting things like foldable phones and things like that.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, everybody's got a foldable phone this year.
Yeah.
But effectively watching this technology move forward and becoming reality has been really exciting.
Okay. Great. Well, enjoy the rest of the show.
Okay, thanks, Kelly.